When it comes back to, like, say, films that are relatively interesting that we look back at with a fond sense of nostalgia, and in a way helped, you know, you know, give a life or bring life to a genre of films. Um, because we had to ask one question I have to ask: what was the first film for like the Hallmark? Like first Hallmark film that was made, a Christmas film. Well, this time it's a film called The Christmas Secret, and in a way, I think it is like something that, like when you look back at it, this is something that would probably get someone into the holiday cheer. It's not actually, it's pretty interesting. And I'll be honest, when I think about it nowadays, one thing I will think about is that, like, say, oh, like, especially because, like, Hallmark Christmas films, sometimes they'll have, like, say, you'll watch them on TV or you'll see an ad for them. Sometimes they might get a bad rep of, like, say, have, like, a similar storyline to all of them, like, say, a guy or girl moves into town, they fall for a character, and then suddenly either they didn't have interested in Christmas, or somehow they get interested in Christmas, but because they have a change in how they view things or their perspective. What was this film about? Because it was called The Christmas Secret. It was also called Flight of the Reindeer. But what was it about? Well, it was about a respected zoologist professor who is obsessed with proving that reindeer can actually fly, and meets up with the real Santa Claus, played by Beau Bridges. So one thing this film does is that he's a zoologist. One thing he's trying to prove is that, he's a college professor. So he's trying to do a good theory that, hey, let's talk about how squirrels can fly.
Uses a black-edged membrane between the fore and hind feet to glide. And when this membrane is pulled taut, it allows the squirrel to become airborne. And just before it reaches its target, which is usually a trunk of a tree or a branch of a tree, it drops its tail and lifts its shoulders.
But, as the story goes on, he's, feeling like, say, can reindeer fly, or caribou? Because, there are real things called caribou, which look like reindeer. And I will say one thing that this film does is, like, say, the character of Jerry, he ends up getting too a bit overboard with, like, his research and all that. But at the same time, this was always, like, a cliche back in the 2000s and the 90s of the overworked dad, or a character that is always trying to understand how other things are different and, figure out things. And in this one, he is trying to feel like, say, okay, well, I'm really trying to understand everything, but eventually he has to try to figure out things for himself, because he won't be able to live off himself.
Day 2. Have altered route 5 degrees.
Because he finds the North Pole.
Am I dead? Is this heaven?
Does your head hurt?
Yes.
Then no. How much do you weigh? I'm only guessing, but I'd say $170 without shoes. Someone offers you cake? Say no once in a while.
And yeah, the one thing that makes the film different is that, compared to, like, say, most films with the idea of Santa Claus, he has kids.
When did you stop believing?
People grow up. You can't always believe in magic.
It's sad.
Look, Katra, I have to live down there in the real world. Things have to add up. They've got to make sense.
Why do you want to go back to a place like that?
There's a lot of wonderful things down there.
Like what?
Like my family. Even the little things, like the way Debbie brings me coffee in the morning and waits.
So that's honestly pretty interesting that the character does. It's always something different that, helps, give it more of an interest. And that, he's, is more like a family man. And I do like it how there was a sequence that kind of made me go, oh. It turned me into a bubbly, like a crying pitch at the moment, was in that, he doesn't believe his family is, like, out for him or cares about him. So he discovers Sam's workshop, and it's basically Sam's, like, a good line list or, like, wishes on TV screens. And he finds, like, when his daughter wishes.
I know you're not the real Santa, but I know you can get a message to him.
Grace?
All right, what would you like me to tell him?
Please help Mommy and Daddy make us a family again.
You don't want any toys?
That's all I want, just my daddy back.
See what I can do?
I'm sorry. It's honestly very entertaining. It's actually one thing that I'll give this. If the film has a lot of heart to it, it pulls you in. It makes you think, hey, yeah, I really understand, like, say the idea of, like, a professor trying to, like, say, hey, reindeer flying and all that.
We're gonna laugh and call you names! Rudolph, come on, give me some light! Rudolph, light! That's my Rudolph!
But you really get invested in it. I'll be honest, all at the same time, one thing this film also did when it came out on television is it had a big marketing push, I think, for vehicles. I watched one, like, version of the film because it was on YouTube that had a lot of commercials from when it was released. So I gotta say, this film was very special in that, yes, one thing we can say, hey, that a lot of Hallmark Christmas films, they have a bit of sameness to them.
To Mom and Dad.
Saturday, November 24th. A bittersweet homecoming.
I really wish I hadn't stayed away so long.
A surprising discovery.
My mother was engaged to someone else.
An unexpected spark.
You look beautiful.
You're just full of surprises, aren't you?
Alicia Witt, Colin Ferguson.
There's no better time to start over than Christmas.
Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. Premiering Saturday, November 24th at 9. Part of the Miracles of Christmas on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
But sometimes you have to look back at it and think, say, hey, they may all seem the same to it, but one thing they all perhaps do have at times, sometimes they might have a bit of heart.
Santa came. He really came this year.
Of course he came. It's Christmas!
Yes, you might have some crazy ones like holiday and handcuffs and all that, but they have a sense of heart to them that sometimes will get you in that holiday spirit that you wouldn't think, yeah, maybe I need to spend more time with family or friends and all that, and, come up with a different perspective on things. So, The Christmas Secret is a film that perhaps should be given another opportunity to, look back at it.
I just thought I needed proof.
Well, your daughter didn't need proof, did she?
I know you can't see it or touch it, but sometimes you have to believe in what's in your heart.
But, thanks for watching.